Hello, my name is Alex, and today I will be speaking about this construction called causatives. So, the causative sentences is we use when there are two subjects, when one subject causes another subject to do something. Okay, so there are two voices. There's active voice and there's passive voice. So first, we'll be speaking about the active voice. So, what is the construction? So, subject, I forgot to mention this. Here, well, the subject, causative object, another subject, verb, and the object. So, with this construction, we use this 5 main verbs, okay? So, for example, when we use the verb to have, right? For example, have, we're speaking about commissioning something, or we speak about something done with money. I wrote it here. Then make, when we use this verb when we force someone to do something. We use the verb to let when we permit someone to do something. We use force is when we have strong authority on somebody, and get when we're persuading or convincing someone to do something. Okay, so let's talk about each verb in more details. So the first verb, to have, right? So again, this one is used when we talk about, again, commissioning or paying someone for a job done. For example, I'm having the barber cut my hair. That means I pay someone money to cut my hair, to do the service. Yeah, a lot of people may say, oh, okay, so you may say just, oh, I cut my hair today, right? We'll understand. But if you want to make it with more precision and to actually show people that someone did it for us, we use this exact construction. So I am having the barber cut my hair. So there is no particle to, and the verb is used in the first form. So I'm having the barber cut my hair. So someone, this barber, I paid him the money and he is cutting my hair right now. The second example, I had the designer paint my room, right? So again, you paid someone the money and the designer, and he painted your room. So now we have this past simple here, I had, right? So that's in the past. So designer painted my room. Again, the construction is like this. So I, the verb, another subject of the sentence, the verb. So the verb is used in the first form without the particle to, and the object, room. And I had the mechanic fix my car. Again, I paid this mechanic to fix my car, and he did, or she did, for example. So again, have is used when we talk about services, when you work with the money, in most cases, of course. So the next verb. The next verb is to make, when you make someone do something. Here you are the authority, right? So you're forcing someone to do something. For example, I made my employees do the report, meaning that, so I have some people, these employees, these are the people that I have my authority over. So I gave them the task to do the report. So you may say, I made the employees do the report. Yeah? Or you may say, I asked them to do. But usually you're the boss and you don't ask people, you make them do something. This is they get money for it. So you're the authority, you're the boss. The next one. I made my son clean his room. Okay, this is your son, you're older and you are a parent, so you have the full authority over your son. So you ask him, so go clean your room, right? So again, you made him clean his room. And the third example, I make my daughter clean her room. Again, so it's the same, absolutely. The difference is here we're using the future tense, right? Again, so you may use any tense here. You may use future, present, or past, right? So here's the example of the future tense. So the next verb is to let. Okay, here let is used for giving permission to do something. For example, I let my employees have more free time. Yeah, so I'm a nice boss, and yeah, I let my employees have more free time. Or I let my kids have a puppy. So they asked me, can we have a puppy? You said, yes, sure, you can have a puppy. So I let my kids have a puppy. Again, as you can see, the verb to have is used in the first form without the particle to. The third one, I let the students go home earlier today. Let's say I'm a professor, I'm a teacher, and so I tell them, well, you can leave earlier today. Maybe it's a holiday or something. So I let them go home earlier. So the next verb the next verb is to force. Okay, this is strong authority, very strong. For example, the police forced the people to leave the house. Okay, so here there's a difference between the previous verbs and this exact verb, because here we need to use the particle to, right? So the police forced the people to leave the house. So the police is a strong force. They're the authority of the government, so they may do that. So that's why they, in this example, they force the people to leave the house. The second example, so the bouncers forced the intoxicated people to get out of the bar. Again, the same. We use the verb force. Yeah, in the past, intoxicated means people drank some alcohol. So the bouncers forced the intoxicated people to, we have this particle, get out of the bar. Okay, the next one. The next one is get. So it's used when we persuade or convince someone to do something. We ask them nicely to do something. There is no money involved. There is no force. Here you just ask nicely people to do something for you, or you may substitute this verb with the verb to ask, right? For example, I'm getting my dad to fix my bike. Basically, I asked my dad to fix it. So obviously, you don't pay your dad to do things. So you just say, I'm getting my dad to fix my bike. So the second one, I will get my mom to wash my clothes. Again, meaning, I'm a kid, so I asked my mom to wash my clothes. So I will get my mom to wash my clothes soon, tonight, for example. So this is present continuous. You see the continuous form here. I will get my mom to wash my clothes. This is the future form, will. And I got my sister to help me with homework. For example, if your sister knows the subject better than you, you don't really understand it, and so you ask her to help you. So in this case, you may use this construction, I got my sisters to help me with homework. And here it's the example of past simple, right? Again, you may use any tense, past simple, present perfect, future. It doesn't matter. Okay, let's move on to the next tense. So the causative passive. So we just talked about the active voice, right? So where we used have, get, let, force, and make. So in the passive constructions, we mostly use these two verbs, have and get. Again, have is used for commissioning, right, or for when the money is involved, and get is used when we're asking nicely someone to do something. Okay, let's look at the construction. That's the subject, like I. The causative verb have plus object plus verb in the third form. Yeah. So let's look at the construction, the example. So I get is used for persuasion and for convincing someone to do something. I got my clothes washed. So why is it different? Because here it doesn't matter who did it for you. We just need the fact. So something has been done, right? So I got my clothes washed, meaning I asked someone to do something for me. For example, my parents or for my mom, right? I had my bike fixed, right? So I had my bike fixed. So again, you ask someone and someone did it for you for free because you just asked them to do nicely, you know, like your father, for example. And the third one, I had this room cleaned, right? So again, you asked someone to clean the room, right? Maybe that's your kid. Yeah, you said, look, your room is a bit dirty, so I had this room clean. So by my kid, for example. And with the verb to get, so the last verb, sorry, with the verb to have, sorry, to have, I'm sorry, there's a bit of a mistake here. Okay, there's been a mistake, so I don't have the picture of it, but so let's just talk about it. So to have, again, so have is used when we ask someone to do something, right? So some services and you pay for it. You may say, I had my house painted. I had my house painted. So you paid someone the money and they paid it for you. Or I had my car fixed. Yeah, we're not saying the mechanic. So I had my car fixed last week, meaning I paid someone the money, well, probably the mechanic, and they did it for you. And I had my luggage delivered, right? So you paid for the delivery service and they did it for you. Okay, so that was have. Sorry, I don't have the picture of it. There's been a mistake. But again, so get is when you ask someone nicely, you're persuading them or convincing them to do something for you. And to have is when the money is involved. Okay, so let's go through those examples again one more time. So in the active voice, have, money is involved. So I'm having the barber cut my hair. I had the designer paint my room. And I had the mechanic fix my car. Again, so we're mentioning who did this for us. Well, yourself and what they did. So that means you paid them the money. Next one, your mild authority. So you're forcing someone. You're asking. Well, not asking. You're the authority. For example, you are a boss. So you say, I made my employees do the report. I made my son clean his room because he's my son, right? I have the authority. And I'll make my daughter clean her room, the future form. Okay, the next one. Let. Let is used for permission. So I let my employees have more free time. I let my kids have a puppy. I let the students go home earlier today. I'm a nice teacher. Force. Strong authority. The police forced the people to leave the house. The bouncers forced the intoxicated people to get out of the bar. So here we start using the particle to. It's used with the verb to force someone to do something. Here, so these people, the police and the bouncers, they have a strong authority, so they can do it. That's their job. The next one. So the passive constructions: subject, causative verb, object, and the verb in the third form. Again, here we have the verb to have and the verb to get. They're the only ones that are used in the passive form. So, to get, asking someone nicely to do something for you, convincing someone. I got my clothes washed, for example, my mom. I had my bike fixed, for example, my dad. And I had this room cleaned, for example, your children. Yeah, you're not forcing them to do that. You're not making them to do that, but you're just asking nicely. And I don't have the example of it, but the next one is the verb to have, the second one that we can use in the passive form. So again, we use it when the money is involved. I had my house painted, or I had my car fixed, meaning I paid someone to do that, or I had my luggage delivered. So these are the causatives. Of course, there are more verbs, but they're more obvious. For example, to ask someone to do something, it's a very obvious verb. Yeah, this is the very verb when you ask someone to do something. Okay, so it's been a pleasure to have this short webinar with you. I will see you next time. I will see you next Friday. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.